Hello, YouTube. Um, I wanted to talk to you today about third-party presidential candidates and their viability. I don't know if you feel that a third-party candidate can win an election for president. Um, I do, actually. I don't. I don't understand why people are so willing to vote out of fear. We have a lot of people this year who want to vote for Obama because they're afraid of Romney, um, and we have more people who are willing to vote for Romney simply because they're afraid of Obama. I mean, the it seems to me that a majority of Americans are voting out of fear. They're voting against someone. They're not voting for someone. If you don't believe in Obama, if you don't believe that he makes the best president of all the different candidates available, there are many, then don't vote for him. Simple, right? Vote for someone you agree with. That makes sense to me. If you're afraid of what Romney's going to do to the medical industry or to the woman's right to choose or gay marriage or something like that, then vote for somebody who's not going to do that. Don't vote for just whoever you think is going to win against him. That's not voting for Obama, that's voting against Romney. If you vote for who you believe in, then I mean, think about it. If all Americans voted and all of them voted only for people that they agree will do the best job, then we might end up with a president who will do the best job. Just imagine that. Can you imagine that? I can. I believe that that will happen too. I think that this two-party limitation is going extinct. And the reason why is because the two parties that are in power right now are dinosaurs. What happens to dinosaurs? They go extinct. These parties have not changed their planks to match what the current population of the United States believes in. And this is why there's apathy. This is why there are so many people who won't be voting this year, even though they are pissed off about the situations, plural, that we are in as a country. Still not going to vote because they can't change anything, so they might as well not even care. And you know why they feel that way? It's because there isn't one of the two major candidates that they can feel that they agree with. And this is why, like, back when Obama was running, he got so much support when he was running for the first election that he won. He got a lot of support because his message was one of hope that we can actually make a difference and make changes. And he talked about, I'm going to, the first thing I do when I'm the president, the very first thing that I do is I'm going to pull all the troops out of Iraq. And, yeah, well, you know, I think it was about a month ago I read something in the newspaper about another kid from Nevada that got killed in Iraq, in the Army Guard or something. That was a month ago. But anyways, regardless of the fact that a candidate will say what they want you to believe, when they get into power, they will do what it is in their nature to do, not what they told you they would. So this is what people mean when they say that you have to have a good character in order to be a good president. You have to have good character. It's not it's not being persuasive. It's not. That's not what character is. It's not. It's not being likable or anything. It's what character means is that means that when you believe in something and you are confronted with a large group of people who don't believe in that and think that you're wrong for believing in it, you continue to behave as if you do believe in it. That's what character is, and that's what the two major party candidates lack. And that's why we can have a third party candidate who's a contender in this election. All you have to do is believe that he might be able to win. And really, if you look at politics right now, both of them, Obama and Romney, are both saying, vote for me because you're afraid of the other guy. That's what they do. And, I mean, whichever one you're afraid of the most, you should recognize this. Because what they're really saying when they don't talk about themselves and focus on the other, their opponent, what they're saying is, there's no actual reason to vote for me except for being afraid of the other person. If you want to keep your guns, you better vote for me because Obama, if he wins, he's going to take them away. Or if you want to keep your Medicare, you better vote for me because if you vote for Romney, he's going to take it away. That is not a good reason to vote for somebody. You should vote for somebody who has character, somebody who's going to stand by their convictions and who is showing you that their convictions are ones that you agree with, ones that you have. So, I mean, tax reform, changing the system so that everyone pays their fair share of taxes. I see Gary Johnson's plan as being an effective plan. If he's put into power and he makes that plan happen, we will be better off. Foreign policy, his plan isn't one that I see. I mean, I can see the Joint Chiefs of Staff being pissed off that he wants to cut military spending by like 60%. But I don't see them being able to give him a good enough reason to abandon that plan to where he will be convinced that it's not a good idea to do it. I mean, when you talk about military spending, I mean, we have National Guardsmen that get paid much more when they're in combat than they get paid when they're back home. Now, what is a National Guardsman? A National Guardsman is somebody who's there for disasters or invasion. They aren't there for foreign tours of duty. That's not. I mean, that's not what the National Guard was designed for, at least. So I don't know why that's such a vast majority of the people that go to Iraq or Afghanistan, but well, whatever. I mean, the point is that his plan includes keeping military presence in such a way that the Joint Chiefs won't have anything valid to say about how his plan isn't going to work. Because, honestly, drone strikes are how we fight our wars. So, I don't know. I mean, with foreign policy, with economic policy, he's got good plans that I don't think he will abandon. You know why I don't feel like he will abandon them? Is because as the governor of New Mexico, he vetoed every bill that came his way that he didn't agree with. Every single one. And here's another reason why you should, I think, even if you have absolutely no faith in the government at all and feel that every time someone comes into power with the concept of trying to change things, that they just mess everything up worse, and then we have to deal with their mistakes for the rest of our lives. If you feel like the best way for us to make progress on fixing the situations we're in is for us to have a president who prevents the federal government from actually being able to do anything, vote for Gary Johnson. Honestly, that's most of the reason why I want to vote for him. Because he is not going to agree with most of the legislation that Congress is going to pass. And he has shown us that he will veto everything he doesn't agree with. So, in other words, we aren't going to be too busy trying to deal with the bullshit coming out of Washington to make progress on the situation that we're in. Because, you know what? We are the ones who have to fix it. We are the ones that have to fix this situation. And if we're too busy trying to enforce policy that's being shoved down our throats from above, or avoid having that policy enforced on us, then we can't make progress. So, honestly, I think the only shit that should be coming out of Washington is sane shit. So, there's all these people that talk about, like, bipartisan, we need to, or nonpartisan, I don't know what they call it now. In other words, just, I'm talking about, like, bills that require the participation of both parties, and we have people saying that, like, oh, well, that party isn't letting us do anything in Congress. We're never going to make progress because that party just doesn't let us do anything. And, you know, both parties have people that are saying this about the other party. And, like, you know what? If you come up with something that is good and makes good sense, everyone will agree with it. And then everyone will vote for it. That's how it works. That's what democracy means. Yeah. Yeah, so, in other words, the government shouldn't be making laws every fucking day. The government should be trying to every day, but the only ones that should make it into being law are the ones that make sense, and that's really why I'm going to be voting for Gary Johnson. Because if he's in power, then none of this shit will be happening. Anytime you have something controversial that somehow gets passed by Congress, that that a normal American will, like, not agree with if it's explained to them properly, that shit should not be law. Period. I mean, it just, I don't know. If it's like a really great idea that has all these paper clips that require like pork for whatever industry, veto it. Don't sign it. Don't take your rubber stamp and just stamp your signature on there. I don't get how presidents just don't know that they can veto shit and don't do it. It's ridiculous, honestly. So, I hope I've given you enough good reasons to, oh, there's another one, the logical fallacy. Think about this. Consider this. I got two friends, right? One of them is a Romney supporter. One of them is an Obama supporter. The Romney supporter friend of mine actually doesn't really think Romney's all that great, but he hates Obama. And he's telling me, like, dude, no, like, you can vote for a third party and try to fix the system and everything, like, some other time. Like, this election is so important because Obama is just fucking everything up, and if you don't vote for Romney and then Obama wins, like, I mean, he's going to be taking away guns. He's going to be invading Iran. This is going to be awful, and I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be bad. So vote for Romney because I'm afraid. And so he obviously believes that by voting for Gary Johnson, I am actually voting for Obama. Okay. Now my other friend over here is an Obama supporter, and he actually admits that Obama has not turned out to be who we thought he was when he was running for election, and he's mainly planning to vote for Obama because Romney is a scary guy. He's kind of stupid, and he's kind of bigoted, and he's willing to create policies that he doesn't understand and support them. So he doesn't want him in the White House. So he's telling me like, no, like it's cool. You want to do your little Perot thing and try to like get somebody in power that's against the system and everything, but can't you do it some other time? Like, this is a really important election, and if you aren't on our side voting for Obama, then Romney might win, and then we won't have Medicare anymore. We won't have all these. He lists off all these things that Romney's going to do. And so he obviously believes that if I vote for Gary Johnson, that it's actually voting for Romney. Now consider this for a moment. Both of these people are using the exact same logic here, if you can call it that. But they're both using that logic to tell me that I'm voting for two opposite people. Two opposites. They're enemies. So both of these friends of mine can't be right. I can't actually, by voting for Gary Johnson, be voting for Obama and Romney. I can't vote for all three at the same time. That's just impossible. I can't do that. So if that logic is right, if the logic of voting for a third party is voting for my enemy, if it's possible for that logic to be right, then it proves itself wrong by the fact that it tells us that two opposites are true. So, no, you know what? It's not right. That's logically fallible. It's not. It can't be true. It's impossible for that to be true. For you to be able to say voting for a third party is a vote for my enemy is logically, I just proved it, it's logically impossible. Anyways, so I hope I've given you enough there to possibly consider voting for a third party candidate. There are a lot of them out there. That doesn't mean they all really have a chance. The Green Party, what's her name, Style, I don't know, I read a little bit about her, and eventually reading some of the things she was saying, I was like, okay, this is not for me. But they have, they're going to have their candidate on the ballot in like 30 states. The Libertarian Party is right now for sure 47 states. 3 of those states they're fighting legal battles to get their candidate on the ballot, but for sure 47 states. And what they say is they're on the ballot in 50 states. It's just they have to go through the bureaucracy of getting on the ballot in the other 3, but they legally have the right to be on the ballot in those 3. It's just a matter of they're getting shit rolling down the hill. That's preventing them from having it, set in stone that they're going to be on the ballot. But I mean, how many states do you actually need to win a presidency? I don't know. anyways, I highly recommend that before you decide that you're going to vote for Obama or Romney, um, out of just fear. I mean, honestly, I'm afraid of both of them. Both of them are bad candidates. I mean, for crying out loud, like, Obama came here to Reno, and he made an appearance at my school, Truckee Meadows Community College, and I wanted to go up there and, bring my little 5-year-old daughter with me, and I was going to make her a sign that said, I will be paying for your retirement, enjoy it, or something like that. Or I will be paying for your education, enjoy it. I don't know. I wanted to go up there and protest, basically, but then I thought better of it because of a bill that passed Congress and was signed by Obama that says that if you protest within like a certain number of city blocks of any political figure that is under the protection of the Secret Service, that you have committed a felony. And I can't afford to commit a felony out of free speech. So yeah, I'm afraid of Obama. I don't want him in office. Maybe I am voting out of fear. I feel like I'm voting out of support for Gary Johnson and the president that I think he will be. If he gets the presidency, the president he would be is the best president I can see on the menu right now. I'm not voting against Obama or against Romney. I really feel like Gary Johnson is the best one we have. That's it. If I met Obama in person, I would tell him that. I would try to be very polite about it, because I don't want to get fucking arrested for a felony for free speech. But I would tell him that. I wouldn't lie if he pressed. I would tell him that you're not a good president. I don't like how you've behaved. You have misbehaved. You are a bad person. The same way I would to Harry Reid. Or, well, I don't have any business telling Romney how to do his job, because obviously he's never represented me in any form. But I feel pretty confident that if he did win the presidency, I would also hate him. I feel like he would probably have signed his name on that bill also. So, yeah, our rights are literally just disappearing one after the other in this country, and it's because of people like Obama and Romney that they're disappearing. People who are afraid to veto a bill. And how hard is it? All you have to do is not sign it. It's not like you have to fucking fill out 1 million paperworks and go convince people that it's a bad bill. No, you just don't sign it and then you send it back to Congress. How fucking hard is that? It's like they just don't read them. I think that they get these stacks of bills on their desk and they just like, oh God, I'm really hungry. I just want to go to breakfast. Can't I just okay, fine. I'll just sign all these, and they don't even read them. I think. Because otherwise they're just really bad people. Genuinely bad people. I just don't want you to be able to talk bad about me. I don't think you have a right to free speech as long as you're near me. I think this is a good bill. No, nobody thinks that's a good bill. Who has a soul? Nobody who has a soul could read that shit and decide to sign it. Now I'm getting all pissed off. But, anyways, please consider looking up some third-party candidates and pick the one. Even if you pick one that is only going to be on the ballot in one state, if you can vote for a third-party candidate, even if they don't win, I'm going to vote for Gary Johnson. Let's just say, let's say maybe Obama wins, and down the road he
fucks everything up even worse. And when people ask me, well, why didn't you vote? You could have saved us from this if you had just voted for Romney. I would say, well, no, I couldn't. I think Romney would have been just as bad. But I did vote, actually. I voted for someone who wouldn't have done this to us. That shuts people up, because people, if you don't vote, period, people will always feel like they can hold you accountable for the mistakes of those in power. So, I don't know, I mean, this is my solution. I'm going to vote for someone I believe in. The other thing is that if people see that about you, and if they see that you voted for someone you actually believed in, and that you're actually a little bit proud of that you're proud that you voted for someone you believed in, and that you feel like he would have done a better job, that might change some minds. That might change the way people feel about voting, and they might stop feeling like voting for a third party is voting for nothing, or like throwing away your vote, or however the logic works. And that's the only thing that keeps voting for a third party as throwing away a vote. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You have all these people who are afraid of voting third party simply because they feel that they would be throwing away their vote if they did. But crazy enough of an idea as it is, these people are very numerous. There are a lot of these people that feel this way, that they would vote for a third party candidate, but they don't want to throw away their vote. So many of these people that if they all voted for a third party candidate, the third party candidate would get just as much of a vote as the other two parties do. So, it's just a matter of releasing your inhibitions and deciding to vote your conscience. So, please, please, please look up who is running, and find out what their policies are. Find out what their records are. If you're like a mega liberal, definitely check out the Green Party candidate. I despise her party, but I mean not all planks of the platform are bad. I think that most of them are, but some of them are good, and definitely the Green Party is better than the two that are in power. So I encourage you, check out the Green Party. If that's not your thing, check out the Libertarian Party. These are the two major third parties. There are a lot of parties out there, but the big players right now are the Green Party and the Libertarian Party, just for the election here in 2012 for the presidency. So those would be the ones to start with. I think there's one called the Pirate Party that I don't think they're shooting for the presidency, but it's worth checking out. It's kind of interesting concepts, but really, the ones that are in reality, like have a hope of presenting. I mean, for crying out loud, like Gary Johnson is a governor with experience in politics and a voting record for you to look up. His running mate, he's a judge who has seen the results of the war on drugs. I mean, he's had to judge to throw people in jail because of the laws that are all fucked up. And so I mean, by the way, Libertarian Party is all about legal decriminalization of marijuana as a means of improving the economy, which I totally agree with, because if we keep on throwing people in jail, I mean, do you realize how much money it costs to have someone in jail? Like, I make $20,000 a year. Like, that means that I contribute $20,000 a year to our economy, because obviously I'm not saving any of it, just by my existence, right? But someone who's in prison, actually, it's something like $50,000 a year that it costs just to have them alive in prison, like between meals and salaries for guards and just power, all the stuff that it takes to keep a prison running. It's like $50,000 a prisoner. And so we obviously can't afford to be locking people up for stupid shit. Like, if it's not a crime where you actually hurt somebody else, or where there's a victim, if it's a crime without a victim, then there's no excuse to be putting people in jail over it. And I'm not talking about like trying to like smoke pot in public or anything like that, but just if we stop locking people up for drug crimes, then that's a lot of money that goes back into our economy right there, that we don't have to be. I mean, this is why marijuana is illegal. It's because they want to have a bigger budget, because they want to keep what they have. They want to have all these prisons remain in operation. I don't like it. And so I see his running mate as being someone who understands that this is a huge waste. And I mean, these people, it's not just the cost of keeping a prisoner in prison. It's also the cost to our economy of what that prisoner would have made and contributed to the economy if he wasn't in prison. Like, for me personally, I am way down at the bottom of our economy. Okay, like I said, make about $20,000 a year. Even if you end up getting out of jail because they legalized pot, first off, that's $50,000 right there a year that you're not going to be draining out of the economy. But then, even if you're at the bottom of the economy like me, and you make like $15,000, $20,000 a year, there's another. I mean, maybe you'll just live homeless and save it all in a savings account, but you're probably going to be paying rent. You're probably going to be buying groceries. The money that you make will be going right back into the economy. So it's at least like $70,000 a year per prisoner. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to be locking these people up. So like I said, I'm all about Gary Johnson and his running mate, that judge guy. I don't really know his name. But anyways, okay. Now I think I've said everything I want to say.